Welcome to the Oh Brother podcast. I'm your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith.
Good to see you tonight, Dan.
Good to see you, man. March 1st,
Yeah, we had the Golden Globes last night.
That's right. So we've got kind of a dual episode here for you this week. We've got we're going to feature an interview with director Kevin Lewis, of course, who is the director of the most recent Nick Cage movie, Willy's Wonderland.
Which we have a blog as well.
That's right.
Go to our website. If you've not heard of Willy's Wonderland, which you probably have, you'll see a blog basically just giving a quick synopsis, no spoilers, about the movie.
Yeah, we try to do everything on Oh Brother spoiler free if we can.
Yeah.
And if you're not currently following us, make sure that you do. The best way to find all things Oh Brother is go out to our official website, which is ohbisandbrotherpodcast.com. That's ohbpodcast.com. You get access to all our social media. The blog, as Mike mentioned, we've got film reviews out there, and of course, access to all previous episodes as well. So make sure you do that. Also, we would like you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our videos out there. We're constantly pushing new content out on the channel. So go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give us a thumbs up if you like the content we're pushing out. Good stuff there. And then we're also going to have, after the interview with Kevin Lewis, Mike and I are going to dive into a little Golden Globes recap, since on the previous episode,
made some predictions.
That's right. And Mike put them in writing. You emailed me and said, okay,
yes,
for the record,
I wanted it.
These are and you were holding up a newspaper and it was a picture of yourself just to prove it's like proof of life or something. So we'll see how that plays out as well. But enjoyed this conversation with Kevin. He's totally down to earth, just
really nice guy,
very laid back. Yeah.
And he just got over COVID. So at the beginning, hang in.
Yeah.
Because, he talks a bit about COVID. He wrote an article about his experience. He was in the hospital for 2 weeks with it.
Yeah.
And for people who aren't social distancing or being safe, let's, check that out. And then he gets into working with Nick Cage and Willy's Wonderland.
I mean, you've heard us talking about it on different episodes and in blogs and things, but it's a firsthand account, and it was definitely eye-opening to hear his story about it. But
I think I swore for the first time.
You know what? I think this could be the first F-bomb on Oh Brother.
Yeah,
that's right.
So you might have to edit.
Possibly could be a bleep there. The censors will do their thing, but. All right. So without further ado, let's turn it over here, and hope you guys enjoy this interview with director Kevin Lewis.
Enjoy.
Hey, Kevin.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, good. How you doing?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Yeah. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being on. And
thank you.
First of all, congratulations on Willy's Wonderland.
Thank you very much.
And we got to say we went through a couple of reschedules, and I also want to say it's good to see you healthy, feeling good. We were, following your Instagram and everything, and it sounds like you were in a hell of a battle there. It sounds like.
Oh, buddy. Yeah. So we were supposed to talk right before the movie came out.
Right.
And thank you for having me on now.
Absolutely.
So what happened was I got COVID pneumonia, and man, I'll tell you, it's going to the ER. I was in there for 2 weeks. Was very close to not making it.
And I've seen pictures. They've shown pictures of clean lungs, and then they show somebody with pneumonia, and it's brutal. It's like a 100-year-old smoker.
I know. And I don't smoke and drink, thank God. That helped me survive. I had this cough, and I was doing a couple podcasts, and I was telling my wife, she's a nurse, and I was like, Mary, you got to help me get rid of this cough. And so I was popping lounges and drinking warm tea, hot tea. And I got through the podcast okay, but I was spent like right after. And then I did an interview, and I was talking a lot about COVID, and I was talking about how, we're in our homes hiding from this invisible bug. and maybe, people can live vicariously through the janitor coming into Willy's and not giving a rip and just kicking butt, right? But I had no idea that COVID was ravaging my body at that moment. I remember it was subconscious. And so the next day I couldn't breathe. And so my wife took me to the ER, and man, I was in 3 days there, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday, they took me to ICU.
Wow.
And the nurse said that he can count on two hands who makes it out of the ICU.
Wow.
And that was just, you guys read that article I wrote. It was hell on earth.
Can't
It's
imagine.
amazing that people don't even believe that it exists. It's crazy.
I know.
Like, it's crazy. And you feel kind of weak, right? Because it's like, God, I'm the victim, right? I got COVID. But then it's like right after I shot Willy's, I came home, I was diagnosed with diabetes. It's a type 2. And I was working on it, but I think my blood sugar was way out of whack.
Right.
And so what happened was it got me. So it's a target on blood sugar for diabetes and high blood pressure. If you have those, you're a real zero target on it. And man, hearing doctors like not saying I'll be able to, like, if I made it, like never exercise again, or like all this stuff, talking about you, and you're so numb and vulnerable, and you're all waiting for that good news and it never comes. And then I had a next door neighbor, Ronald, he was like 80, and hearing his family telling him goodbye and his sister telling him he was the best brother in the world and he's out of it. I mean, man, it just shakes you to your core. And I've got 4 kids and my wife, and trying to be strong for them. You're the man of the house, right? You're the husband, and trying to be strong, and the father. And I can hardly breathe, so I'm saying I love you, and I can hardly say it. And they knew.
Right.
They're crying their eyes out. And then, like I said in the article, texting all my friends and family, and things that reminded me of them and my friends when I first met them, people in elementary school, and
Right.
I didn't want a pity party, people were praying for me, which was wonderful.
Right.
And when I got out, I made it, and my friends were like, you should, write about this. And I didn't want to take away from the movie. The movie's such a fun, leave your mind at the door film, right? And I just didn't want people to be like, the victim, or a spotlight really on me about it, But then they're like, if you could inspire any one person, I was thinking, if I could get one guy who doesn't believe in it, but then he it, and he puts on a mask and he stays 6 feet apart and he just washes his hands. And I was like, you know what? So I came home that Wednesday night. My son's birthday was Thursday. He was turning 16. And Thursday morning, I just wrote that, and it just poured out of me.
Yeah,
I just felt like it was the honest truth, guys.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Well, we're glad you're here with us.
Yeah,
Man.
I'm glad
yeah,
I'm here
Holy
too.
well, here
Wow.
you'd think that celebrating the release of the film was going to be the thing, but it
Yeah.
just you being healthy and having your
I know.
health back is really something to celebrate. And your wife being a nurse, that's
So
thank
was
God
she
for
able
that.
to come in and see you?
No. So when you have COVID, no one can come and see you.
Wow.
You're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's, you're alone. You're like I say, it's like you're the way you came in this world, alone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something else. And they made a makeshift ICU, so it really wasn't the ICU, but there's so many patients. And so when they wheeled me out, and I finally made it, I was going into, they call it step down unit. And I just saw the people in the rooms lined up, man, just on breath. I was this close to a ventilator, and I had no idea they were prepping it. And once you do the ventilator, that's the last stop.
Yeah.
Right.
And I had one doctor, and he came in and he was like, we don't know much about the disease. Basically, I couldn't tell you anything. And I'm like, okay, that's great.
Yeah, that makes me feel good.
Right.
Yeah. Luckily, he is no longer
Jesus.
with us with my doctor team on that one. But my wife handled that one. But no, I was like, it was crazy. But no, amazing doctors and nurses, amazing, and made so many great people, great friends with these people, and they're the real heroes, man.
Yeah.
It was so cool, guys. I was showing everybody the Willy's trailer, And so like a nurse would come in, and so it got to the point where like ER doctors, like everybody was like coming in check it out. And then it was cool because it was like there were already people knew about it, and they were like, "Oh my god, like the director of Willy's." It's like that was pretty sweet. So Willy's
That
got me by seeing that
Good.
trailer.
Well,
You
we
know,
hope you continue to, getting, because you don't know now,
thanks,
like,
Michael.
they're
Thank you.
talking about these post-COVID patients, which you're in that
I
group
know.
now, that
Yes,
they're
yes,
keeping an eye on.
yeah,
So, have you
yeah.
been vaccinated now, or would that be like,
No, but I hear I need to.
hmm,
So that's the next step. What's interesting is my mom, she turned 90 January 15th. And
wow.
so January 16th, I got her the shot. I got her the Moderna shot in Long Beach. And I was just so adamant to get her the shot. And who would have known in 10 days, man, I'm going down, you know?
right?
But so yeah, I'll get vaccinated. I hear they're rolling them out now, and so, and maybe maybe I'll have something since I had it. I have to get it early or something. I don't know. I see my doctor actually tomorrow, but I'm just so happy to be seeing you guys here and talking some Willies, and the
Yeah.
fans are digging it, man, and people love it, and people are asking about a sequel and toys and
We were going to
hey,
ask that. So,
Yeah.
well, let's talk
That
about it.
that
There you
was
yeah,
one
go,
of
let's
huh?
get
our
into it.
questions.
Yeah, let's get into
So
Let's
it.
get
like
into it.
for those who maybe haven't seen it yet, can you
Yeah.
kind of just give the synopsis, but also how did you come to work on the picture? How did it all, like, what's the backstory?
Okay, so it's a really cool actually backstory. So Siren Sarah, who Jessica Davis plays in the movie, she was in an acting class with Geo Parsons, who wrote the script. And
Okay.
so she liked the script and she took it to her husband, Jeremy Daniel Davis. And Jeremy and I go way back. And so he brought it to me. He optioned it and then brought it to me. And I liked it. So we partnered up on wanting to make the movie. And I got some art commissioned, some key frames and character designs. And then we got a casting director and we took it into make an offer to Nick. Nick was the only one that we felt was right for the part. So that's that. That's the origin. And then in terms of the pitch of the movie, it's an out of town drifter goes through a old town, a young, basically an old town, old podunk town, and his car breaks down. He needs to get it fixed. He makes a deal that they fix his car. He'll clean Willy's Wonderland, which is an old defunct showbiz Chuck E. Cheese,
Right.
and uh, and something happens when he goes in there.
Yeah, that's an
And
understatement.
There's so many people who talk about bringing their kids to Chuck E. Cheese and how the
yeah,
kids are all creeped out
yeah,
by the animatronics
yeah.
singing.
It's so
So it was
funny.
kind of a perfect fit.
It's so funny, you guys, because so I got, like I said, 4 kids and my 2 teens, and they went to Chuck E. Cheese all the time. And my daughter just recently said, Dad, I was always, creeped out. I was like, well, why'd you tell me, man? I'd have gone somewhere else, man. There's John's Pizza. There's all kinds of stuff. Probably where I got my diabetes eating this crap food with these kids. But anyways, so but yeah, what's weird, it's like, so we grew up with it, right? So I'm from Denver, Colorado. I grew up with Showbiz Pizza, and then of course Chuck E. Cheese, and then my kids, and then I have two 5 and 7-year-old little boys, and I've taken them to it too, and they draw the creatures for me, and Willy and the gang. They've seen little clips and stuff. So what is it with these kids? They get creeped out, but we also like it, right? And so I was always keen about that. I think it's like the ambivalence. You're this little kid, you're staring up at this huge furry, robot with these eyes and mouth. I think the eyes and mouth are a key. And then
Right.
Ken Hall, who created the creature suits, he put pulleys in the suit, and so you can move the eyes and mouth.
Okay.
And I love how that happens. And then you're playing the audio, and it's not syncing to the eyes and mouth. There's just something off-putting there. And so trying to doing the research, it was so funny because like before even the movie, I took the family to Chuck E. Cheese, and I was like, I can't go alone or I'll look like a pervert and I'll be escorted out by the cops. So I was like, you guys got to come with me. I know it's bad food, but you got to come with me. So we went, and I was just watching like the kids' birthday parties with my family, by the way. So it's like, can't do that by alone. And just seeing these kids, and like they'd come up and approach the thing, but then they'd be kind of nervous and whatever. And I was like, we got to tap into that, And so I felt we got it in this movie, that kind of essence of what, I always said it was like a colorful, dark movie, right? It's a dark subject matter. We're taking this kids thing and kind of turning it on its head, but it's a colorful movie especially visual with the pastels and things like
Yes.
that, because that's what
Yeah.
these places are, you know. So
Right.
how do we make it? How do we make it that, you know? And I want to make it otherworldly too. Like we're like in this spaceship of Willy's Wonderland. Like there's nothing else exists except Willy's, you know. So we worked on doing. I did like a 70-page shot list for the movie. So before shooting, I just had every shot for every scene. I call it the Willy's Bible, and I think I got about 85 to 90% of that done. And I worked with my DP Dave Newbert, fantastic. And so we did a thing called Rage Cage or Cage Rage. When he would fight the animatronics, we would shoot like 18 frames per second on the cameras and do the shake. And then
Yeah.
we would take flashlights and light them into the lens and have these lens flares, these cosmic lens flares coming. So we call that like Rage Cage. So we just want to do something different and original. You know, we had
You
20
had some
days to shoot.
you had some backlighting there too, right?
Yeah,
Because there was some
yeah,
glowing going on.
yeah,
Yeah. So it was a
yeah.
20-day shoot.
20
Because that was
days.
one of the things I was wondering. Because Nick
Yeah,
Cage, he's always working. So I imagine
yeah.
his schedule's pretty tight.
Oh, yeah,
Did you
for
have
sure.
him for like 20 days and that was it?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
He loved the script when he read it, and he was almost on this movie for a year wanting to make it. So from, you know, script that he read to when we shot it was almost a year.
Wow.
But he had that little time to do, you know, the film, and he really wanted to do it. So thank God it worked out. But
Yeah.
yeah, he was on point every day, man. He was just, what an incredible partner to make a movie with. You know, he's just a great guy. We never had one creative disagreement. You know, we saw the
That's
movie eye to
great.
eye. Yeah, he spoiled me really, you know, working with other actors,
Yeah. I
you
mean,
know.
here's a guy who won an Academy Award.
Oh, yeah.
And, I've had a couple of encounters with him
Uh-huh.
in LA where uh, we were at an Elvis Costello concert. This is way back.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there, and there was this chair next to me. We were like the only ones alone, and he sat next to me.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, I wanted to say, "Hey, man," but I
Yeah.
kind of looked at him, and he just gave me that look, like, "Yeah, just don't say anything."
It's all good. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
left him
Yeah.
alone. You learn to leave
Sure.
guys alone.
I gotta ask you this question,
Yeah.
Kevin.
Yeah.
It's maybe a weird question, but I gotta ask.
Yeah.
Mike's gonna laugh when I bring it up. But
Yeah.
first of all, I love the reveal of his character. That whole opening scene is very
Yeah.
cool, and you've got a couple of those awesome, like I don't know if it was a helicopter or crane shots. How you got some of the
Drone.
it was
Uh-huh.
drone cams.
Yeah.
wow.
See
Yeah.
the technology now is
Isn't it
crazy.
amazing? Oh, it's amazing. Yeah.
Now
Yeah. We had
that
drone. Hmm.
that Camaro, first of all, is sweet. I want that car.
I do too.
And I'm assuming Nick had some fun in that car on the
He
shoot.
drove that thing, man. Gone in 60 seconds, like gone in 10 seconds.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
he
Is
drove.
there
He drove it hard.
is it intentional where your name pops up as the director of the film
Uh-huh.
in the beginning of the movie? Because it comes up at this very specific shot
Yeah.
when the Camaro's driving away, and you see.
Yeah.
Is that something that you think about, or is it just coincidence where it ends up?
Oh, that's interesting. So we always knew it was going to be the credit sequence of the opening of the movie was Nick, you know, driving in and the punch pop and Jed and all that. What was interesting to me is I didn't think it was going to go that long. I thought it would be a little, you know, shorter, but it wound up, you know. But I like where the credit lands. It's the Hayesville sign. My credit's there, you know. But yeah, you know, you never know about these things, you know, until you're starting cutting and putting it together. I want to get back to you, Michael, what you were saying about Nick,
Yeah.
saying, you know, he looked at you like, you know, don't do it, you know. What's funny is the last day of shooting with him. I had one more day after him, but the last day of shooting with him, and it was the day we shot the Willy fight. At lunchtime, he went into the main dining room and hung out, and he signed every cast and crew's thing, whether it be a poster, a DVD, Blu-ray, pictures, took pictures, whatever. He took his time, and there was a line wrapped around the set,
I can
and
imagine.
he did that for everyone.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
That's how cool Nick is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he seems like, we know him as this manic, some of
Yeah.
his movies like Mom. I don't know if you've seen Mom and Dad. Did you see that?
Yep. Yep. I
That
did.
was a
Yep.
great one. And he's so
Yeah.
manic and crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when he's not working, he's just kind of a laid back dude,
Totally. And I was so happy for people to see Willie's because I just feel it's funny. I get like defensive over him because it's like I hate, that, oh Nick, he'll do a movie, for $1. It's like, no, you guys have no idea, and this whole thing with, like you say, the manic thing and whatever, it's like those are, seeing him do what he did in Willie's is complete opposite. So how can you sit there and say, well, that's all he is and whatever, and goofy Nick Cage when you see what he did in Willie's? I don't think a lot of actors could pull off what he did, to be honest with you.
No, and you muffled them, and that had to be difficult for him because it was so physical.
And was
Yeah.
that always was that the objective from the beginning when in the writing, as far as his character being muffled, as Mike says?
Yes, yes. In the script, that was it. Except the end, he had one line to say to Willie, and I was never a fan of that. And we just decided it'd be best. He felt that the janitor only speaks when he needs to, and he doesn't need to because his point of view were the creatures were trash to him. They don't mean anything to him, so he's
Now,
not going to give him the time of day.
what about his character? Mike and I were talking and sort of wondering, do you have, I don't know if it was written down, but do you, at least in your mind, have what his backstory was? Because there's a very specific shot that you have of the dog tags on the rear view.
Yeah,
and
saw that.
So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
he's a military vet, and he kind of seemed like he knew, he was sort of game for whatever was going to be coming at him.
Because
Perhaps.
he saw the cars. You specifically made a point as he's in the, this is at the very beginning. He hits the spike strip, puts it in his trunk, but then he's getting towed, and you show all these cars. You specifically show. So he's not stupid. He knows what he's getting into here.
Yeah, totally. It's so funny you say that. So the writer Gio, I know on the original, and it wasn't in the script that I read, but I know he had an idea, and he might have put it in a script, but it was an idea where after Willie's, you see the car, and then you see him pull over the side, and he pulls out a book, and it says, like, it's got all these different names of like places, and it says Willie's Wonderland, and he crosses it out. And so it's like, right. So I was like, that's kind of cool. You picked up on the dog tags. That's great. Nick liked that idea with the dog tag. I have in my mind, kind of where the janitor is a little bit and stuff. It's kind of cool, guys, to talk to the fans who love this movie so much, and they're pitching me their ideas. Like, man, we're gonna have like 1,000 producers on this movie by the time we're done. But it's great, like hearing everyone's ideas and what they want. God, it makes me so happy to make a movie like that people just enjoy and they want to be a part of. That's how, like, when I love like Evil Dead and Sam Raimi and Evil Dead 2, like that was the vibe I wanted for this, and that was what really inspired me to make a movie like this. And just to have a character like an Ash. Now we have the janitor. I always felt like he was a superhero without an S and a cape. And
well, it's exactly what I've been saying is that, he was supposed to be Superman.
Yeah.
With Tim Burton.
Yes.
And I've even seen footage from that.
Oh yeah.
Then he did Ghost Rider. So I kind of looked at the janitor as a comic, almost a comic character, like a superhero.
Totally.
Going in and, kind of doing it on his terms. So
yeah. I love comic books. I'm a huge collector. And I mean, Silver Age and Bronze Age and stuff. So I would have loved, if I had time, I would have loved to talk to Nick more about the Superman thing. I also feel that it's probably, he's kind of past that,
Yeah, it's been a while.
Right.
It's been a while, but I would actually talk to him about like different like classic covers of comic books. Like I'd say this is like Neil Adams, Superman 233 when he's busting the kryptonite chains or whatever, like, and then he'd get it. So I totally talk like comic dialogue, comicology to Nick, and he would totally.
He's a huge collector, isn't he?
Huge.
His son draws comics, doesn't he?
I think so.
Yeah, I think his son is a comic.
Yeah, no, he's a big comic. He was telling me that the Superman Action Comics #1 was stolen from him. They found it. They found it, and it was worth more money than that he bought it for. I think insurance or something, but he got paid more for it, which is cool. Wow. And then he said that Batman Detective is still out there, and 27, I believe. He said that he will keep that. They find that he thinks they're going to find it,
Hmm.
but yeah, yeah, he's huge into that, and it's so cool, man. He's just such a great guy. I mean, no problems at all. So professional. We'd be with second team setting up shots. He'd come in and hold the punch can. He'd let the stand in go. Like, he's not hanging out his trailer,
Right.
waiting, and he's not doing coverage where he does his scene and leaves and we get a stand in. No, that's not Nick.
Mhm.
Right.
He was
Ha-
involved, watching the monitor all the time. Just the coolest, you know?
It look, from the shots, the pictures you've showed, he's
Yeah.
always got a smile on his face.
Mhm.
Looks
Yeah.
like you guys were having fun.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
the cast and crew guys. They would show up to work with a smile on their face and leave with a smile on their face. We all had a blast. I
Yeah,
feel
that's
like it
great.
shows in the movie too. It's just a fun movie. We had a great time, and I can't wait to get back to Georgia and do it again with the crew because they're just fantastic.
I
Um,
love the 1/6. Was that like a gift? There's a
yeah,
1/6 version.
isn't that
Yeah.
cool?
Yeah.
So a
It's
friend of mine
awesome.
just sent that to me, and so my friend Scott, he was one of the producers of the movie, and he had his friend Mike, who was on the set a lot on the film, and Mike did that, man. He took like a whole year to put that together for me. It was really touching.
That's
Yeah, it
so
was
cool.
great.
How involved
Yeah,
were you with the rest of the casting? Because I was thinking about, in fact, I
uh,
just figured this out today because
yeah.
it was bothering me. I was talking to Mike about it. I said this one the African American kid, Terrell Hill,
Terrell,
who
amazing.
was just in, because we just did an episode on Judas and the Black Messiah, and he was in
Uh-huh.
that film. And I'm like,
Yeah,
yes, he's one of those, he's young, but he's got a long resume already. And Emily
yeah.
Tosta, she's in
She's
the
great.
Mayans. And
Yeah, she's great. Yeah,
what was the process there?
well, it was cool. So Nick was a producer of the movie. His manager Mike Nylon was also a producer of the movie, and so he introduced us to Emily. And so I had a meeting with
Oh,
Emily in L.A. Back when you had lunches, with people,
right.
and it was great. We hit it off really well, and she was game for anything. And so she was fantastic to work with. And then with Terrell and the other which we have Christian, who's a huge social media guy. I had no idea when we cast him, but basically, and Kaylee and Dan, Jonathan played Dan, Kai, all of them. So they all auditioned, and we watched their auditions and thought it was just great. So the producers and I liked everybody. Terrell was fantastic. The character Bobby was just kind of jock kind of guy, whatever. And Terrell just put a spin on it, man. I was like, that's it. He's got the part in my eyes. And it was so cool working with that cast because we improved a lot. Because I wanted to make
Mm,
it like current, I didn't want to make like, yeah, talk like this. And I wanted to make them, feel it, and stuff. So they actually lived with each other.
really?
Most of them, yeah, they lived
Wow.
with each other. And I would tell them like, watch Attack the Block,
Hmm.
and like all these different, and just they
Yeah.
would hang out and lunch together and everything. So they already had a camaraderie with each other, which was cool.
That's
So
smart. Yeah, that was
yeah,
smart because
I
you
think
yeah,
it
you can see
showed.
that. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you can see
yeah,
that on screen.
Yeah.
totally.
Was you're a pretty big horror fan, it's safe to say, right?
Yeah,
So,
I live for, yeah.
the theme song, the Willies,
Oh
I
yeah,
couldn't help but, I don't know if you're a fan of the Halloween franchise. Mike and I are pretty big
yeah.
fans
I
of that
love
franchise.
Halloween.
I
Yeah.
couldn't help but be reminded of Halloween 3, Season of the Witch,
Oh yeah.
with the silver shamrock.
Oh my gosh, you're
Did
right.
that ever see that?
Yeah. Well, so let me tell you about that. So Emwa, who did the original score,
Yeah.
I mean, he did that birthday song, guys, before we shot the movie. And so it was so cool. Like he put the birthday song on a old Chuck E. Cheese commercial. And when I met Nick for the first time, was Wardrobe. And I showed him the Chuck E. Cheese commercial with the birthday song. He loved it. And so it was so cool. Like I shot the creatures. When I would shoot them, I would have that birthday song. So we play it. And I knew it was a hit, because the cast and crew would come the next day and be like, I can't get that song out of my head. And that crazy, crazy song. And I love that song. And so Emwa, what he did was he did that song and he wrote Six Little Chickens. And he just wrote these great twisty songs, to kids, but just a sinister vibe to them. And then he scored the whole movie. And then he did the voice of Willy. How cool is that?
Oh,
Nice.
That's
Nice.
great.
So he's
Dan
very
was singing
talented.
while we were waiting for you. Dan singing the song. He
It's
watched
a
it the
great,
second
it's a
time.
great earworm. It just gets
Yeah,
in your
totally.
brain. Yeah.
That was the plan.
Speaking of
Yeah.
songs, and I don't want to
Yeah.
give this away, but the last
Yeah.
song, how much of the budget went to that? The final song in the movie.
Some money. Yeah.
I can
Some,
imagine.
yeah, a little bit.
I
I don't-
gotta give Ryan Liebert, the editor, credit for that. So when we were finishing the first cut, I was like, like I told you guys, like I didn't have a lot of I had the shot list and I didn't have a lot of time. I had 20 days, and so I can only do 2 or 3 takes of each. And I told Nick that, and he said, I said, "Oh, Nick, I can only do 2 or 3 takes." And he said, "Well, I like to get it in one." I was like, "Well, that's really cool." And so I shot the cut, so I didn't have all this footage where I was going to go play around in the editing room, right?
Mhm.
So the end scene, actually in the script, there's dialogue, right? She says like, "Can I get a ride?" and all that stuff. But I felt like Liv is turning into the janitor a little bit. And so if you think about when she leaves Willy, she has the encounter with Tito, but after that, there's no dialogue for her. She's more morphing into the janitor. And I was like, it was great just to have these looks with them, like this, to look at each other. So I was like, dialogue's gone, man.
Right.
That's it. And so Ryan Liebert, my editor, we were finishing up the cut, and he's the one that did that. And he's like, "Can't wait for you to see the ending." And I was like blown away. I was like, "This is awesome." We had a couple other songs in the movie that we were looking at, but then we wanted MWA to do the whole score and have it tonal, in the same.
And it was, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
but
very
I thought
cool.
the end, it was great to get away from that a little bit, right? And we break off from that and kind of do something a little different, because it's the ending of the movie and things have changed, right?
Yeah.
So I loved it.
Yeah,
And,
it worked
everyone
great.
was digging it. Yeah.
That's
It was
it's
kind of like a
used-
passing of the torch in a way, at the end.
Exactly. And I know it's been used in a lot of films. I know, it's so funny. I was watching Ralph Bakshi, American Pop, and it was used there,
right.
but and of course, more current films like Zombieland and stuff, but it just felt right. It just
It
felt
fits.
right.
It fits.
Fits.
You mentioned Emily, and I'm thinking, because I wanted to get your thoughts on this before we have to let you go, is strong female character.
Yep.
Today's the first day of Women's History Month, and I don't know if you follow these award shows. Mike and I just put out a blog about how they should change them or do away with them, but the fact that we've had so many women as a filmmaker and as a director yourself, I just was curious if you had any thoughts, if you tune into the award shows. If not, were you following this at all because of the women that were nominated? Or
I mean, I think it's great, first of all, right? And to me, I was raised with a single mother, okay, and my sisters, Aaron and Sean, and everything. So for me, it's like I never differentiate, like, well, men and women. Like I don't get that, right?
right.
Same thing for me with race, guys. Like it's the person, when I was growing up, I had African American friends, I had Asian friends, I didn't look at them as they're my African American. You're African American, so you're different than me. What? No, he was my friend. Now I get it. I'm a white man, okay, and so we're white men. So my experiences are different from somebody else. I get that, and God bless them, and I respect that. But for me, I know as just a person, my true feelings, right? I know who I am. So when it talks about like women or racism, and I know there's this politically, things are going, kind of haywire. That's why I love having something like Willy's, because just to check your brain at the door,
Exactly.
For me, it's just too much, sometimes. So let's talk about award shows. I used to love Academy Awards. I'd have parties with my friends. We do bets on them. We'd bet money on it, and stuff like that. I'm done with award shows now. I don't care. Yes, I'd like to see the movies that are nominated and things like that, but I don't know, man. Being in the hospital, being what I've been through, life's too short. I used to be like, I got to see everything. I want to see everything. I'm a film junkie. I got to see everything. I don't have to see everything now. I'm good. I'm just catching up on Stranger Things. My daughter's 15, she loves it. I'm watching season 3 of that. I was talking to some friend the other day, like, man, that's an old show. I'm like, well, yeah, but I haven't, So like, I'd rather watch Evil Dead 2 again. I mean, I don't know, guys. You know,
See,
I look at
our goal
yeah,
was to
yeah,
morph it into an appreciation night because,
Right.
like a movie like Willy's, like I don't know
yeah,
if you check out Rotten Tomatoes,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it's getting really in Amazon, all the
yeah.
feedback, the
I'm so
fans
happy, you
really
guys.
enjoy
I'm
it.
so happy. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes me, and that's I made it for us. I'm a film geek, man. I collect. I have my old Star Wars figures. I collect Sideshow and Hot Toys. I've got my Steel Books and Blu-rays here. I've got a
Ah.
Tron. I got a Tron. I'll show you, man. I got a Tron arcade here. I
Oh,
got,
Mike.
I got, I got my Vader helmet cooking up there.
Oh,
All
that's
I
right.
mean,
nice.
I
Uh,
got, look at this. I'm a physical media junkie, man. I got my Blu-rays and steel
Oh,
books and
oh
nice.
my
All
God.
right.
right.
You and Mike are simpatico here.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
take a peek behind me,
I love
this
it.
is just one wall.
This is
Love
nothing.
it.
Yeah.
Physical media rules, right? So
Yeah, I
um,
love it.
I'm like, you know what? I see some of these movies and I'm like, I have no interest in seeing them. I'd rather watch something I have there.
Yeah.
Okay, call me closed-minded, call me old, call me what you want. I don't care. Life is too short. You know, I'll let my kids, if they tell me something's cool, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll check it out, you know. But Willie's was a throwback to the 80s, the movies that I loved
Yeah.
growing up. I hope you guys love them too, you know, and
Absolutely.
that's what I made it for,
Yeah, one
you know.
last thing I wanted to
Yeah,
add. Do you feel
yeah.
gypped at all because you didn't get the theatrical release because of the COVID and,
That's a good
it
question.
changes.
Yeah, it changes. We are in a changed world. Yeah, the original idea was to go to Toronto like film festival,
Yeah.
Midnight Madness. That'd have been awesome. We're gonna have a big premiere.
Right.
We're talking about releasing in October, Halloween. So all those are out the door. But with what's happened, seeing my kids, my teenagers doing a 30 friend watch party was just cool, right?
Nice,
And so
nice.
evolve or die. And this is the way it is.
Right.
I'm not going to cry over it because people have lost their lives, right?
Hmm.
And look at me, I was in the hospital, man. I was this close. So for me, it's like, you know what, my ails, my problems that Willie wasn't in a theater mean nothing compared to what's happened. So I just
Right.
put those aside. But I hope, you know, I did make it for us to go to a theater together. I was looking forward to Comic Con and shaking hands with the fans and high fiving and talking like this, you know, live and in person, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Nick was going to do the panels, and
Mm.
I had this whole plan. And so, yeah, things change, but evolve or die. And this is the way it is. And I think we've done pretty good for this movie coming out digitally and, you know, in this day and age,
Now,
you know.
will there be plans for a physical release at some point in the future, or?
I mean, I've had so many people say, you know, when the movie's open, like, I want this to be at my theater at midnight. I just talked to a guy today, and he's like, they just played. He went and saw in the theater. It played 3 weeks at his theater, you know, and Alamo Draft House is playing it. And I went to the drive-in, you guys, last week to see it, and it
Nice.
was so cool. Like they're honking their horns and flashing their
That's
lights at the
cool.
scenes, and
That's
yeah.
cool.
Right.
So I'm hoping, you guys, you know, if people dig it enough and like it and remember it, you know, there's so much content coming out, right? Every week now we have, you know, it's so funny because I was looking at what came out this weekend because I was like, oh, I wonder how we're gonna do it. I'm like, oh God, Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry's gonna kill us. I love Tom and Jerry, but not now. You know, but the thing is, like, there's just so much content going out and vying for everybody's attention. Even like my son, who's
It's
16,
true.
he's such a huge gamer. He can even care about the movies. It's about the games, you know. So
Right.
Right.
yeah, we are at a different age, you know. And I don't know, you know. I hope theaters come back. I'm sure they will, but it's a different playing field.
Yeah.
So I'm loving that people, you know, dig the movie so much and are talking about it, and I love talking to you guys about it. I'm here, and so
It,
it's just really cool.
well, what
Yeah.
about are we? What's the likelihood we're gonna get
See the
Willie's revenge?
janitor.
And look, it could be the
It's
janitor versus
revenge.
Tom and Jerry. You know, we could.
Ah, there you go. There you go. There you
Hey,
go.
we're up for the janitor too.
Oh, I
Absolutely.
love it. Well, you know what's so cool, guys? That's what everybody's talking about. They want a sequel, and so as you know, as much people as people talk about it and they want it, hopefully it's going to happen. Hopefully Nick will want to do it. I want to do it. I've got ideas. I got a lot of ideas. I'm excited about it. You know,
Great.
we gotta figure it out. We can't just make it the same. It's got to be, you know, it's going to be better. Not necessarily bigger, I think
Yeah.
sometimes with sequels they go, oh, we got to go bigger. Let's throw in 3 villains, and this and that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you have to go bigger, but you got to get better, right?
Yeah.
So we got to be the Empire Strikes Back of the Willy cinematic
Hey,
universe.
I've got that right here.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, behind me is all Nick Cage stuff: Ghost Rider, Face Off,
Nice.
Raising Arizona, Leaving
Get
Las
Gone in
Vegas.
60 Seconds. I got Bangkok Dangerous over here.
So what's your favorite Nick Cage movies? Top 3 Nick Cage movies each. What do you like?
I would say Leaving Las Vegas is probably both of our top.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
I like Face Off.
And Raising Arizona's got to be on
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Those
for
three.
sure.
I mean, right.
Okay.
Throw Willie's, of course. Now that
Yeah,
that's in
right,
the mix.
right.
No, it's all good.
You know?
Right, right. We're taking
But
Willie's out of it.
Pre Willie's,
Yeah,
yeah.
Willie's, yeah.
Raising
That's fine.
Arizona's got to be on there too.
Oh, amazing. What's funny is my favorite Nick Cage movie, I told him too, he's like, wow, that's an oldie, is Vampire's Kiss.
Oh,
love that
yeah.
movie.
Yeah, sure.
It's a
I love
great
that
one.
movie.
Great
I love
one.
that movie. Yeah.
He's got a lot of good ones.
Isn't Nick like a genre to himself? Like,
He is.
it's just crazy. It's crazy the amount of movies he's done,
Yeah.
and the amount of like great movies he's done. Like, you could say we could just go on. We could do 15 or 20 amazing Nick Cage movies. I mean,
Yeah.
Racing with the Moon, Rumblefish. That's even old Nick Cage. Young
You're right.
Nick Cage. Like,
That's right.
I've got
crazy.
Family Man, which is a
Yeah.
drama.
Family Man.
I
yeah.
mean, he can
Yeah,
do whatever.
adaptation.
Yeah, he can do whatever.
He's,
adaptation.
he's
was
incredible.
great.
Yeah.
It'd be nice
All right,
if you guys.
we got to let you get.
Yeah,
some
it'd be nice if you
rest.
guys could hook up again. But we put out a blog
that'd be great.
we put a blog out on Willie's, and we'll be promoting the heck out of the episode here too. So again,
Thank you,
just
guys.
good to see you up and about. Glad we were able
Thank
to
you.
reschedule, and
Yes, absolutely.
we'll have you back on when you get your next project going too.
Yeah.
So excited. Definitely.
Yeah.
Stay
for
safe.
sure.
Stay safe.
Yeah, you guys stay safe too.
All
Thank
right,
you
Kevin.
so much.
Thanks so
Okay.
much. You take care of
Okay,
yourself.
guys.
All
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
All
You
right.
too,
Take
too.
care.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Hope you enjoyed the interview there with director Kevin Lewis. And now we're going to talk more filmmaking with the Golden Globes recap.
Kevin, before we go to the Golden Globes, Kevin's in tune with me with the physical media.
Totally in tune with you.
And I haven't mentioned it before, but I have video game machines around as well. So
Yeah, he had that sweet. Was it Tron?
It was
Tron
Tron,
arcade?
yeah.
He
it
had
was kind of a miniature version, like a
Yeah.
tabletop, but it was the arcade game.
Yeah, and he had sweet Darth Vader helmet up on top of his collection, and hopefully he doesn't go check out our physical media versus digital media episode.
Yeah, so we won't hear you.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you guys are simpatico there for sure. All right. So it's March 1st, 2021, as we said at the start of the show. And we just had the 78th annual Golden Globe Awards last night. And we're going to run down the big five, which we've covered.
And before we do that, because and I think you were probably just about to say it and I took it out of your mouth.
Yeah.
We've done at least 2 blogs about award shows. One specifically that you wrote about more of a movie appreciation night, because this is getting ridiculous.
And I would say Kevin is on board with our philosophy and stance on that.
Especially after what he went through.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the other one, we talked about the inclusion. This is a while ago. Well, not a while ago.
The inclusion criteria?
The inclusion
for the
criteria, which you obviously saw with the Golden Globes last night.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, let's do away with this nonsense, but let's get into it.
And it's something else Kevin sort of spoke to a little bit as well in that interview. You can hear that, he kind of references some of that and at least his stance on that. But we had done, remember, we did the Big Five episode where we talked about one of those films that took home those top 5 prizes, which was which movie?
Judas and the
No.
Oh, Nomadland.
No.
Nomadland.
No. The Big Five episode we did on Oh Brother. What was one of 5 films that won? And in fact, it's right behind you. It's right behind you.
What, the right here, right?
At the very top.
Yeah, Jack Nicholson. You're talking about the ones
One
that
Flew Over the Cuckoo's
win
Nest.
all 5 major awards.
Correct. So we didn't have one of those winners last night, but let's run down first. Let's run down the big 5 awards and who won them.
Okay.
So first we've got Best Picture. Okay. Went to Nomadland,
Nomadland.
which we did an episode on, of course. Best Director, Chloe Zhao for Nomadland.
It seems like we're saying the name a little wrong. There's
I'm saying
kind of a
Zhao.
J sound.
I'm saying
Chloe
Zhao.
Zhao, I think it is.
Okay. Well,
but
you can send us letters if you need to.
yeah.
Best Actor, Chadwick Boseman, right?
Yep.
Best Actress, Andra Day. And then
Sure.
Best Original Screenplay went to Trial of the Chicago 7, which was the Aaron Sorkin film. All right. So there's your big 5. Now comes the commentary. Now we had Best Picture. We
both
right?
had Best Picture.
We predicted that. We predicted Best Director, right?
Yep.
And you actually nailed Best Actor.
I got Best Actor.
Even though you didn't agree with it.
I didn't agree with it. I still don't.
But you picked it. Best Actress. Talk about Best Actress a little bit.
That came out of nowhere. The Billie Holiday movie. And I think what happened is Viola Davis, because it was between Viola Davis
and Frances McDormand, and at least in our minds.
And in everybody's minds. Those were the 2 front runners.
Sure.
Every critic I read was saying would pick one of the 2. And I picked Viola Davis.
I picked Frances McDormand.
You picked Frances McDormand. Now, what I think is they split the vote. I think that a lot of people were split. Which one do I go? Which way do I go? And that opened up a spot for somebody else to move into that top spot. That's my opinion.
That's a good assessment. Yeah. That's
so I think that's
plausible.
What happened, because that was a shocker. I thought as the night went on, I was more and more confident that Viola Davis was going to win.
Now, when we concluded, I believe that the last episode, Judas and the Black Messiah, we picked for Best Original Screenplay. We settled on Nomadland for that as well. And so we were wrong there too. Chicago 7. Now, I said I couldn't get through 30 minutes of that. You watched it. You liked it.
Yes, but here's my thing. It shouldn't have even been in screenplay. I can go and copy a transcript from a law case, right?
Yep.
And that's what most of it was. Most of it was in the courtroom. It was the actual transcription of the case. How is that a screenplay? That's not a screenplay. So I don't know what it was doing in that category, much like I don't know how Pretty Promising Young Woman was in Best Picture, because that shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
If anything, it would have been in comedy, because it was a dark comedy more. And the way they spoke about it, it definitely fit your bill, which you described it as a dark comedy.
Yeah.
And that's the way it was described on the show last night.
Right.
But that too, I think for screenplay, I picked Nomadland.
Yeah. We did.
I did, like in writing, I sent you the supporting stuff, and I got one right, one wrong. I got Daniel, one for Best Supporting Actor, Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah.
Kaluuya. I always say it wrong. And I picked Olivia Colman for Supporting Actress in The Father. And that's, I don't know how many people have seen it.
Right.
The Father is brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, awards aside, now I was like in and out watching this. I was not glued to this show at all. And we just, as you said, put out a blog called Oscar Buzzkill about just the whole concept of having award shows at this point, which again, Kevin alluded to in the interview we had with him. And you think it couldn't get worse. And then watching this last night, it's just another, it supports my argument even further as to why we shouldn't have it. I agree.
And I think there was a couple of moments I thought were brilliant. I thought Jodie Foster, that was a shock win. But Jodie Foster in her pajamas with her wife.
Yeah.
That was my favorite moment of the show. That was the realest moment of the show.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna challenge that a little bit with mine. which to me, hands down, the greatest moment of the entire night, so moving, came from the Cecil B. DeMille Award recipient, Jane Fonda, who is, first of all, has her own breathtaking resume. When you see
Yeah,
that,
when they did the clips,
it's just
wow,
mind blowing.
from Clute to
But that, you know,
9 to 5,
despite
everything.
what you're, you know, regardless of whatever your stance is or your thoughts or whatever, that speech was so impassioned and seemed so genuine from the heart. You know, she's been an activist most of her life, right? So for anybody that's followed her at all,
I'm sure
and
you didn't watch any of the backstage stuff.
no,
You might not have loved her backstage moment.
yeah,
They showed her backstage and they were getting her ready. They were asking her, "Do you want a clip-on
she
mic?"
talking about how much she liked physical media. Is that why?
No, what she was doing is every time somebody came within 6 feet, she was going like this.
Well, okay, but
And then
again,
they gave them
CDC
but
protocols.
the people backstage, they had masks, they had shields.
Well, look
They
at
were like
Jane.
in you know,
Jane is an older woman,
right.
right? So I don't blame her for being overly
No,
cautious.
it can't, the way, like, because they were so well protected, and she had a shield, and you can hold up a shield to your face to
Right.
block it. It just came off a little bit,
But that's
like,
that's where we're at. That's kind of,
I
you
know,
know, with
and I'm all for that. So I'm not saying, I don't know. There was just a weird vibe
yeah. Well, I think
about it.
there was a weird vibe. The whole thing was a weird vibe. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't realize. I was surprised to see at the beginning that there were people there.
Yeah, and they were first responders, and they were definitely distanced.
Oh yeah,
They
sure.
all
But it was
had
just so
masks.
bizarre.
It was weird.
And I didn't know that Amy and
Tina.
Tina were going to be at separate locations. Like I
I
didn't know
didn't
that was a
either.
thing, but
I didn't either. I thought it was a bit
yeah.
they were
But you know what
doing.
was weird is, again, we got to rail on just the whole idea of the award show anyways, because look, can we just be done with these already? Again, go read the
Yeah.
blog. But a lot of these actors and actresses, I'll just say actors, a lot of them seem just as excited about the opportunity of maybe winning as they do in person in normal times. And I'm just thinking, you know, like Kevin, right? He put such a unique perspective on that whole idea now, having gone through what he just went through.
Right.
You'd think to see someone on the edge of their seat at home in their mansion in LA or whatever,
Right.
you know, like, really? Oh my God. It's just, I don't know. I'm
And
so turned
some of
off by
them,
it. So turned
like,
off
the
by it.
reason I like Jodie Foster, they were in their pajamas, they were just hanging out with their dog. It was real casual. I
Yeah,
think she was
sure.
genuinely like shocked that she won.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all.
But there were people in like gowns with the jewelry.
Plus,
in
it was
their
just,
lush
what about the
homes.
awkward moments where, like, you saw
The worst was Viola Davis.
when you saw Bob Odenkirk and Al Pacino and like that whole mashup, and they're all talking over each other because of the Zoom, and
Exactly.
it was so awkward.
It was weird.
It was so
weird.
awkward. Just really strange.
And like Odenkirk, Mr. Pacino, it's nice to meet you, see you. He didn't know what to say.
No, it was so strange. It was so
But
strange.
Viola Davis got the worst of the night because when the Cecil B. DeMille, it was the Cal Burnett Award that went to Norman Lear, and he gave that dude is 99.
It's amazing.
And he is all there 100%.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there talking about, you know, how important laughter and family and all
keeps
that.
you young. Keeps you young.
And it cut to the home of Viola Davis, and she's like,
yeah.
And all of a sudden, her husband tapped her, and she was like, "Oh my God!" She got nailed right on TV.
Yeah.
And from then on, every time they showed her, it was like this big, huge smile. But she got caught.
Yeah, more than a few awkward moments.
Yeah,
for sure. And then there were just really bad attempts at humor. like with Catherine O'Hara and her partner there with the phone
Yeah, like
bit was ridiculous.
That
It was
tanked
just
Catherine. I love Catherine O'Hara. That tanked.
it was just silly. It was
And,
silly. So
I mean,
again, it's another example of why we
but
make it a celebration
of all
of
movies,
all movies, of even just all movies of that year, let's say.
right? Like Kevin's movie we just talked about was Willy's Wonderland. You're never going to see that at any award show, but there's a lot of people that like it, and there's
Right.
a lot of people that are. I mean, if you go on Rotten Tomatoes, it's
That
getting
want to
positive.
celebrate it.
They,
Right.
you know, so show a clip of that. You know, I mean, show
Sure.
a clip of Halloween.
Yeah.
You know, the latest Halloween that came out. We liked that. It's not. It's you know, and a lot of people probably tune us out sometimes because we tend to be movie snobs, but we're covering the top movies, or we're kind of focused on the top movies, but we watch everything.
Mhm.
You know, we watch. You know, I have every Marvel movie. I have all, you know, sorts of comedies and just movies that you would say, what's that doing in your collection?
Legally Blonde. Yeah.
That's not in my collection, damn it. You always accuse me of that. I don't have Legally Blonde, but I didn't hate Legally Blonde.
Not getting edited out. You know, before we wrap this segment,
I got 3 out of 5. I got 3.
Yeah,
out of 5.
I mean,
That's
collectively, yeah, that's not bad. That's not
Yeah.
bad. I mean, Andra Day and Chicago 7, I agree, based on what you like, who would have guessed that?
Yeah, nobody had that on their bingo.
But I
board.
do think I would like to point out, especially because we were big fans of the film, and you know, we did one of our, again, a couple episodes ago on Nomadland. You know, look, here's a 38, soon to be 39-year-old young Asian female winning, only the second woman to win the Best Director award was
That's
Catherine
shocking.
Bigelow, like over a decade ago.
And I
she
can't
won.
believe Penny Marshall didn't win an award for one of her movies.
Well, I mean, it is, but again, there's another example of why, like, it's so silly.
Yeah.
So, you know, because if you didn't have it this way, then you wouldn't have so many restrictions and you'd be able to more freely acknowledge and honor, and it wouldn't be this competition. You know, it could just be.
But there's so much money on the line, dude. There's so much money on the line.
Well,
for
that's the business
DVD
they've created.
sales and for bonuses for
Right.
everyone from an executive to whoever, if the movie wins.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like so many. Yeah, it's like
I'm
so
done.
many things. Yeah.
I'm done with the shows, and we're just
Bad.
getting started. People's Choice, the SAG Awards, the BAFTAs. By the time the Academy Award gets here, it's going to be like
the Oh Brother Awards.
Yeah,
you know,
the Oh Brother Awards, which is the biggest. I mean, you get an Oh Brother mug.
Right.
You don't
get an
a
Oh
golden
Brother
statuette. But
yeah. Well, just to give you an idea, you get an Oh Brother Award. You'd rather get a Razzie Award than get an Oh Brother Award. If that tells you
they're
anything.
similar. They're on the same.
Oh, brother. Well, all right. So let's wind this down. We hope you enjoyed the episode. You got a really interesting interview there with director Kevin Lewis and his work with Willy's Wonderland, which looks like, is going to be one of those sort of cult favorites.
If you look on Amazon, people are.
It's finding its footing among that crowd that they're liking it. So
you can get it on demand now.
Get on demand, yeah. And again, we'll push out to
Amazon,
our blog on that some more that we put out about that film. And then let's do away with these award shows, folks. There's no need.
It's time. Enough of the wasted money with what's going on right now with all the people that are dying.
I know. Can we get some perspective and just realize it's silly?
I think that's what Kevin was really.
That's exactly what he was saying. And just in its current form. Again, celebration of filmmaking and all things movies.
One night.
Yeah, let's do it. All the major networks, whatever, let's get together on that, make that happen.
Yep.
Well, that's going to do it for another episode of the Oh Brother podcast. I've been your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith. We will see you next time.
It's your birthday.
Don't. You're going to get us sued by Kevin and crew.
All right. Bye, everyone.